Hello and welcome, everyone. My name is Mark, a trainer here at WEX Field Service Management, and today we are covering Mobile App Advanced. This webinar will cover the work queue, creating new appointments, checklists, proposals and invoices, financing, maintenance plans, proposal comparisons, purchase orders, review requests, and a live Q&A at the end where you'll get your questions answered live on stream. Without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into the mobile app. When you download the app and log in, you'll use your same login credentials as you would to log into the desktop version, and you will be brought to the jobs page. There are tabs at the bottom that allow you to navigate to different parts of the app. And the jobs page is where you will see a image of the user. So if you have your profile picture added to your user profile, you'll see this here. And you will have a daily time at the top. There are two time clocks in the system. The daily time clock is going to track your entire day. That would be like clocking in for the day. You're going to do separate jobs, but then when you leave, you'll clock out for the day, and that may be used for payroll purposes. You simply tap clock in, and these will run in the background as you work through your appointments. Maybe you need to go to lunch. You'll just clock out for lunch by tapping clock out. It will stop the time clock and put a timestamp. When you come back, you can clock back in. If you're the type of technician who's going to the distributor and the supplier house and the warehouse, and you're back and forth between job, clocking in and out is very easy. You just hit clock in and out as you need, as many times as you need throughout the day, and that will track for the office to see from the office side. Just underneath that, we have our date selector. If you tap on the arrow, it will pull up a calendar that will allow you to see what today's date is. And then you can select any other date to look forward or backward in your schedule. Underneath the date, we have three buttons: schedule, routes, and new appointment. For schedule, typically with schedule, that is for uh, those who want to see the entire team. This does have a way to hide this if that is something that you did not want a technician to see. But if you have a team that works together, or maybe you are a service manager and you just want to see kind of where everyone's at in their day, this is a great view to do it from because you can see everyone's appointments from here. Again, that is permission based. So if you wanted to hide everyone else's appointments from a certain user, you can do that as well. If you want to create a new appointment, tap Add Appointment. You can add an appointment. Add appointment is a customer facing appointment. You'll select someone from your customer list, and that's for the jobs you're going to run. Other event is more like an internal event. It's not customer facing. You won't select a customer, and that's good for putting in. You could set up sales meetings with your team. You could put in people's birthdays. It's more of a personal internal event is other event. For today's example, we're going to make a new appointment with a customer. So tap Add Appointment. Select your customer. We're going to choose Emily Davis. And then from here, you determine, do I want to schedule this right now? I know the date, I know the time and the technician. If I'm not sure, maybe I'm talking to somebody and I just want to put this in my work queue as a draft appointment to then schedule later. That would be service request, create service request. So you have two options here. You're ready to schedule now, use schedule now. You want to document this and schedule it at a later time, use create service request. When you click save on the service request, this will save in your work queue, which we'll look at in just a second. If you do schedule now, this will put it on the dispatch board, and whoever you schedule this for, it will show up in their list of appointments for that day. We're going to go ahead and schedule now. You can see the customer balance at the top. This is a nice touch. If someone owes you money, especially if they owe you a lot of money, you may not want to make a new appointment for them. So you can spot check that as you're scheduling to see this customer balance, whatever you see here, will be the total of outstanding balances of all invoices on that customer's account. Location, this is the address that you want to send whoever will run this job. This will have a drop down if you tap on this. And if they have multiple properties, maybe you're working with a commercial company, a uh, property management company, or someone who just owns multiple properties, you'll see those in the list here. Job, this is how you're going to organize your jobs. So right now this says new, that means that when I create this appointment, it will create a new job and put this appointment in that new job. If this is a callback to a previous job, let's say this is my second visit, I needed to order a part or something, and now I'm going back to a previous job, you don't want this to say new. You want to tap and select the appropriate job that this second visit relates to. That's how you're going to keep everything organized. Job type. This is great for reporting. So in your system, you'll have many different types of jobs. And this is really great if you do an install, tag it as a install job type. If you do a repair, tag it as a repair job type. Then 6 months from now, if I want to go into my reports and look at how much money did I make from installs last month, you can very easily find that as long as you've been tagging your job types per job. Frequency, date, time. So let's say that we would like to do this today at 9 a.m. The It'll be for 1 hour. I'll be the primary technician, so it'll show up on my schedule. If I want to change that, I just tap on the technician, select someone else, and then tap on the plus sign to add a additional tech. So if I need some helpers or I want multiple people from my team to work on the same job, I can just select them from here. If you want to remove a technician, you just tap on the trash can icon. Assign technician later will keep the date and the time, but maybe you don't know which technician yet, so you can assign that technician later. This will go in your work queue as a draft appointment, and then you can assign it to a technician whenever you want. Last but not least, we have notifications. So if you tap on that, these are notifications that will go out from your system to your customer. Scheduled, if you turn that on and save, this will send a message to the customer that the appointment has been scheduled. This is like a confirmation message. If you want to send out a reminder, these will go out automatically 1 week prior and or 1 day prior. And en route, if I turn this on, when I select on my way, it will send a message out to the customer letting them know you're on the way to the job. So we'll go ahead and keep those two on and tap save. Okay, so we have all the information here that we need. If there are notes, let's say that you know you want to remember something, maybe even a gate code that you need to write down, you can tap in the notes and put that information here. When you're ready, tap save in the top right. And there we go. Here is our appointment we've created from 9 to 10. with Emily Davis. Just underneath the new appointment, we have My Appointments, and this is going to show you any appointments that have been assigned to you for the date selected. I already had an appointment with Justin from 8 to 9, and then we just made our Emily appointment now. A couple things to notice here. So each of these represent an appointment. These are also affiliated with a job. You can see the job number and the job type. So this is a service call. You can see the address that you're going out to. And we have three quick actions. You can tap the phone icon to call out if your device has a way to call. Same with text messaging. You can tap the little text icon to send a text to this customer. And if you want GPS directions, tap on the GPS icon, and that will open up whatever GPS app you have on your device and give you directions out to the job. And then last thing we'll look at on this page, we have the work queue. So the work queue are going to be draft appointments that are not quite ready yet to go on the schedule page on the dispatch board. Service requests don't really have a lot of info. You're not sure the date, the time, or the technician. You just wanted to get something drafted up so you could remember to schedule those later. Unassigned appointments, you know the date, you know the time, you're just not sure which technician. So the only last piece of the puzzle is which technician will go and run those jobs. Any of these jobs that are in your work queue, you can simply tap on them and schedule. So just like we did with scheduling the appointment earlier, come in, put the date, the time, the technician, click save, and now that will put it from the work queue onto the schedule page for whoever you assigned. Pro tip, if you want to take a step back to a previous page, tap the arrow in the top left. All right, perfect. So that is just a short introduction and the work queue, creating appointments. Now let's get into actually working through an appointment. So let's work this Justin Hernandez job. We're going to tap on that appointment and that will bring you into the appointment page for this job. We talked about the daily time clock, which tracks your daily time. Now we have the job time clock. This is a second separate time clock, and this is to track time on the job. When you're ready, you'll tap idle and en route. This will do two things. Number one, it's going to start the time clock for the job. The time for this will save in the job so those in the office can see the actual time that was tracked by the technician when they're out in the field. If you have the en route notification turned on, which we just turned on, it will also send a message to the customer letting them know their technician is on the way. At this point, I'm driving over. When I get to the location, I would open the app again and tap and select at job. That'll put a timestamp, which will let us know the time we started, the time we got there, and now we have a travel time. You're at the job now, you're doing the work. Every job's slightly different. You will react as such. When it's time to mark this as complete, tap that same button again and select complete. It will ask you, is this appointment complete? And tap yes. An important distinction here. Oh, great job completing. If you're finding, oh, that's funny. Okay, so this is us asking for a review. I've actually never seen this. That's why I was like, wait, what is this? Okay, so this is for you to leave a review in the app. We're gonna go ahead and dismiss that. But the job time clock is for the appointment. Even if the job isn't done yet, you can have as many appointments for a job before it's marked as complete. So you may be thinking, I don't want to mark this as complete because the job's not complete yet. I'm going to have to come back for a second visit. I recommend that you complete the appointment because you came, you did something, and you left, and we'll mark that as complete. If you need to come back for another visit before the job in total is complete, then that's fine. You'll just clock in and out of the second appointment. Then, when you're actually done, you've invoiced the customer, they've made a payment, you'll mark the job as complete. So, those are different completion statuses. Love the Google image. You can just spot check that you're at the right place when you get there. And then in this customer details section, tap on that, and that brings up the appointment details. So if you needed to make an edit or adjustment to the appointment itself, you can do that right from here. If you want to add an attachment, maybe you're going to take a before and after photo, a picture of a piece of equipment. Maybe you'll take a picture of the model number and serial number of the unit you're looking at. You'll tap attachments and new. You can take a photo with the app. You can pull from your photo library. And if you have a device that has PDF and Word documents on it, you can pull those in and attach those as well. Calls and notes is going to be the any notes that have been added to this. If you see a bell icon, so we can see right here, there's a little yellow bell. That means this has a belled note, and belled notes are universal. If I add a note to a customer, I can put a bell on it. And if I do, that note will show up in all jobs that we create for that customer. Belled notes are typically great for gate codes. If they have a crazy dog that is dangerous, maybe you want to know about that every time that you go to that residence. So great place to just put common information, and then the bell you will see in the top right here. Next is checklists. So an optional feature, but does come in very handy, especially if you have others who are working with you and you want to make sure that everyone is following the same process. You can make a checklist. When you tap new, you will see all of your checklists in your system. Now, this does take a little prep work. If you have not created any checklists, you won't see any here. You would need to do your checklist creation from the desktop side. Once you have, the mobile app, you will be able to select from the list of checklists. And we're saying we want to create from the templates that we see. So for an example, let's say we're doing a HVAC service. So I'm going to use my HVAC service checklist and tap create. That will use that as a template to now create a checklist for this job. We've got select all at the top. If you already know you did everything, you can tap that, saves you some time. Otherwise, you can come through and check off certain items. You can enter information. And then if there's something that is just not applicable, you can tap skip to skip that. So let's go ahead and mark these as complete. Uh, we would think we would greet the customer, so let's put that. And you also have some multiple choice options as well. So when you do select all, it will not select the multiple choice. You do need to make sure you are individually selecting those. You can add notes to the checklist if you want and mark who the checklist was completed by. And when you're done, tap save. Now we have a completed checklist. If it's incomplete, it will be yellow and say incomplete here. And if it's completed, you'll see, 9 out of 9, 5 out of 5, etc., and marked as complete. Just a quick note about checklists. You can set checklists to be mandatory. So if you hire a new technician, you want to make sure that they're filling out the checklist. You can make it so that they aren't able to clock out and complete the appointment without finishing the checklist. And it will give a reminder, hey, this checklist is incomplete. Please complete this before you can clock out of this job. So nice little process that you can add in, especially if you have someone new on the team. Next, let's take a look at customer history. So customer history is great because it's hard to remember absolutely every detail of any time you visited somewhere, especially if you haven't been there in a little while. And this is just going to give you every job you've ever done for them in chronological order with the info, invoices, proposals, notes, whatever you did before. You will be able to see that. And it's nice for your customer when you show up and it seems like you just talked to them yesterday. You know everything that's going on. Any equipment that you want to document, you can tap equipment. If they already have equipment documented, then you will see that information here. If you want to add new equipment, tap new and fill out the information. I love this so that you can get really detailed with this, take photos of it, put the equipment name, manufacturer, model number, serial number, physical location, is it in a confined space? Are there any warranties on it? And then that's just great info for you to have on file anytime you go out. So you can do a little homework before you actually step foot on the property. Invoices allow you to create invoices. Maintenance plans allow you to see if they have any maintenance plans. You can also add plans from here. Proposals, create proposals. Comparisons, create comparisons. Purchase orders, you will be able to order parts from. And review requests is where you will send out a request for your customer to provide you with a review. Now, we are going to walk through creating a proposal. That's going to allow us to look through the price book and, see how to actually build a proposal. We're going to do that right now. Then we'll convert that proposal to an invoice. You can see what that looks like. And then we'll take payment on that invoice so we can kind of work our way through a simulation of what you might do on a real job. To create a proposal, tap on Proposals and New. Now you have two options when creating a job form. A job form will be proposals, invoices, purchase orders. New proposal is going to create a brand new document from scratch without any, pre-existing items, warranties, etc. Copy from existing will allow you to see all proposals in your system. You can even favorite proposals so you can see uh, maybe proposals that you want to copy from. And this comes in really handy to save you some time. I just did a mini split install yesterday. I want to do the same one with the same unit today. I'll just copy that from a previous customer and then it becomes unique for the new customer with all the previous information. So if I need to make edits or adjustments, I can do that on the new document that's created, but I didn't have to search my price book. I didn't have to add the warranties. It's already pulled from the previous document. For today's example, we are going to choose new and, oh, well, now we're on invoices. Let's go back. Let's go to proposals. New proposal. Now, everything on here is very easy, intuitive, and easy, like you're gonna get how to use this. But there are a few things I like to point out. The name up here, this is our customer that we're gonna send this proposal to. If I tap on the customer name, this allows me to name this proposal. So this is a pro tip. I'm building this proposal and I already think I'm going to want to copy this in the future. You can name the proposal so you can remember, maybe this is a furnace install. and I'm going to mark this as a favorite. If you do those two things, that makes the copy feature way more powerful. You hit copy, and I know these are my favorites and they're named, so you know what the proposal is about. From here, you can also come down to the bottom and pricing strategy. So you can set up from the desktop side, this is something you would set up kind of beforehand, but you can set up multiple pricing strategies. What that means is standard price will be your just standard pricing. Like whatever the prices are in your price book, that's what the prices will be when you add items from your price book. But let's say that this is a maintenance plan customer. It will automatically switch it. You don't have to do this yourself. It'll automatically make them a maintenance plan price. And then that way it will give whatever discount you promised to them for being part of your gold club maintenance member. You can also add a discount. You have three modifiers. So I happen to make a friends and family discount, a military discount, and then a price increase for after hours. So if I'm doing an emergency call on the weekends, I would want to go into my this area and choose after hours. What this does is it affects your pricing in your price book when you add it to the proposal. So if I have this as standard price and something is $100, I switch to after hours pricing, it'll be $120 or whatever pricing I have set. So this is where you make the adjustment. And then when you add items from your price book, it will take on whatever pricing strategy you have selected. For today's example, let's go back to standard price and hit save. And again, that was accessed here from clicking on the name. Featured image will put an image to represent this proposal. So if I wanted just, let's say I'm selling a system, I could have a picture of that system here. And when I show it to the customer, they'll see a picture of what they're getting as well. Now, let's talk about the price book. Products is the section to add items from the price book. If you want to add a price book item, tap Add. And in the price book, you will have a few options. Now, what everyone sees here is going to be a little different based on your account. Price book, everybody has. This is the WEX FSM integrated price book. Any items that you have created, folders you've made, those will show up here. So I've already made a general items folder, installs folder, separated by brands. Am I doing a maintenance call? I'll go to the maintenance folder. This is up to you, and this would be something you would create from the desktop side. And then when you're out in the field, you'll see this. My recommendation is make sure that you are creating your folders in a way that makes sense for your technicians to find things easily when they get out into the field. So I love installs like, oh, am I doing an install? Let me use the install folder. Which equipment? Oh, I'm doing a furnace install. Okay, let me go to the furnace installs. And everything I would need for a furnace install is right here. So that's just one example. To add an item, you'll go ahead and tap the plus sign. That will add it to the queue. We can see we have one item added. If you tap the plus sign, that will add quantity. Minus sign will minus quantity. And oh, I kind of clicked fast, but if you hit the trash can icon, it will remove it. But basically, it's kind of like adding to your cart before adding it to the proposal. And why I like this because now I can skip around and select items from different folders and get everything in order, review it before adding it to my actual document. Flat rate will be the flat rate price book from Profit Rhino. That is a add-on subscription, but if you sell flat rate items, it is amazing. It can save you a ton of time. It's basically just a pre-built price book with your regional pricing in here, and it updates from Profit Rhino as the market changes. QuickBooks is if you are syncing to QuickBooks, if you use a QuickBooks item list, maybe your item list in QuickBooks is how you use and know your pricing. Those will sync and you will see all that info here. And there's two ways to search. So if I'm looking for a very specific item, maybe I need a filter, I can just type the word filter. Anything with the name filter in it will pull up. Let's go ahead and add a filter. Or I can use the folders. So instead of typing, I can just come through, tap what I need, and add what I need from there. Let's add some labor. Oh, look at this, furnace install labor. That's what we're doing today. So I'll go ahead and add, let's say it took me 2 hours to install. And now I have all my items. I'm ready to go. Just before I add, if you tap the arrow right here in the center, you can look at what you're setting up. You can tap, hold, and drag to move these in any order that you want. And let's say that this filter item, if I tap on that, oh, you know what? That is on the next screen. I'll show. So sorry. In this screen, we're putting them in order. We're changing the quantity. We could see the total. We're ready to add. So we're going to tap add. Now, anything in the product section is going to charge to the customer. This is the total of the items in my product section. But let's say that the filter, I haven't actually talked to my customer yet about the filter. It's a recommendation that I want to add to this. So instead of having it in the product section, I will just tap on the item and in the bottom left, recommend. I want to recommend on this proposal and tap save. And obviously update the price, the quantity, the description as needed and hit save. That will move it from the product section to your recommended items section. Recommending an additional product or service is a great way to get your revenue up per year because that does compound as you are adding small things to each service you provide. And this makes it very easy to communicate to your customer about this. You know, here's the price of our products and services for today. And if you're interested, we also have this filter change that I can do real quick. It'll take me 15 minutes, and here are the benefits. If the customer says, yes, let's do it, tap the plus sign, and it will add it to the product section. And if you want to move it back, you can simply swipe your finger to the right, slide, and tap recommend, and boom, it's right back down. Uh, if you tap on the item, let's say the customer decides, let's not do it today, we can do it in the future, you can just tap future work and save, and then it will, you'll be able to see that in the notes the next time you look and you can recommend it later. Okay. Now we're ready to present. We will, oh, you know what? Let's do this. So while we're here, if this is finished and ready to go, you can move on to presenting and converting to an invoice and taking payment. If you want to offer financing, maybe this customer, they're looking at the price, they're like, you know what, I really need this new unit, but I just can't afford it right now. You can offer financing. So if you have financing loans set up, you can tap offer financing. And now you're running through an application with the customer. You would select the plan. Now, this would need to be set up ahead of time. You do need to set up financing in your system. We won't go over how to do that today, but we do have training on that if you are interested. Add the loan that they want and tap save. You can hit apply now, which will then take you through the process of your customer filling out their loan application. And it is an instant approval. So it's nice. It lets you know right immediately, are they approved or not? If they're approved, then you are able to, move forward with the job, do the work. You will receive the money from the loan in a bulk, like a lump sum that is sent to your bank account minus a dealer fee. So each loan does have a dealer fee, but you would see those and select those when setting up the loans you want to offer. If you want to offer a maintenance plan, to sell a maintenance plan, tap offer maintenance plan. Same thing here. You do need to set up your maintenance plan offerings in your system from the desktop side, but once you do, you'll have those right here. Let's say that today we did that install. We're going to do a one system residential comfort club and tap sign up. All the information is like you setting up your offerings makes this part real easy in the field. All of this is already correct. I have my pricing. I can tag a sales agent to give credit if I want. I can track who is selling maintenance plans from here. You can get a signature from the customer. You know, they're standing right in front of you. And then tap next. Oh, you know what? If you grab their signature, you do need to put they do need to like digitally add their name. And they agree to the terms. And next. Service, this is just saying the service windows. We're gonna, I would typically be explaining this to the customer. We're gonna come out between, March and June and do an AC cleaning, September and December and do a heat cleaning for you. Here's the benefits. This is who do I want to reach out to when it's time to schedule the visits. And then the payment, we want them to pay when we convert this to an invoice. So we're going to put this on this proposal. All right. And there we go. Now, the notes that you see here are customer facing. So if you want to put, thanks for your business or any reminders that maybe you talk to the customer about, they will see the notes here when they are reviewing the proposal. This is good to go. We have our customer, we have our products, we've got our, financing, maintenance plans, etc. We'll come down, present the proposal. At this point, you can turn your device around and show this to the customer. It's in a very nice, clean format. If you've added a featured image, that would show here as well, like a picture of the unit at the top. And then you have a few options. You can send this proposal to the customer. If they're not with you, they will get a message where they can review the proposal and sign it. If they sign it on their own after you send it, you will get a message that they have signed the proposal. It will also change the status from presented to signed. So you'll see that it was signed. If they're ready to pay right now, you can just convert to invoice. That will take everything from the proposal, move it to an invoice document, and it's literally exactly the same. So everything that we had here, it will be an invoice document. And the biggest difference between a proposal and an invoice is that you can take payment on an invoice. If you need to, you can tap on these items and change, the price, the quantity. You can update the invoice if you need to. Otherwise, we're ready to present and take payment. So we'll go ahead and tap present invoice. And this part is important, how to take a payment. There's a couple options. Process payment allows you to process through WEX FSM and it will send the money to your bank account. Record payment is if you're processing outside of WEX FSM. Good example, someone pays in cash. You're still going to need to take that money to the bank, but you want to document that you took the payment. So that would be record payment. View PDF will just allow you to see a PDF version of this. If you have, here, let's look. If you have your logo uploaded into your system, some of my customers just prefer to show their customers this because it's a little more traditional. It's got your logo at the top, etc. Just know if you are going to show the PDF, you will be viewing it in your browser And if you want to take payment, you'll need to go back to the app. That's a personal preference. You don't have to look at the PDF. Just some of my customers do like that, how it looks. All right. So now let's go ahead for this example. We'll record a payment by tapping record payment. And then this already has this invoice pre-selected. So we're just confirming this is the invoice we want to pay for. If they're standing in front of you and they want to give you more money and pay for more stuff, you can select that and pay for multiple items at a time here if needed. This is correct. We're going to go ahead and hit next. Choose a payment type. So let's say they paid with a check. Enter the check number. Date received will always be default to today's date, but you can change that if you need to. And record payment. Now, a payment has been successfully processed. If you want to send this invoice now to the customer as a receipt, you just tap send invoice. Otherwise, tap save. And there we go. We can see this has been paid. You probably don't want to change the historical record of a paid invoice, but if you need to, you will need to change the status from closed to open draft. So if for whatever reason, maybe you want to just go in and add notes to the invoice and save it. If you try to do that, it won't let you. And you may be thinking, how the heck do I edit this? You need to tap closed, and that's going to bring up the different statuses. And a document does need to be in open draft status to be edited. When you're done, you can just tap and put it back to, whatever it was before. All right, let's go ahead and tap back. Let me check my notes real quick. Did that. With the time that we have left, I have one more section to quickly show, and then we'll open it up for our Q&A. So get your questions ready. If you need to order parts or send a review request, those are right at the bottom. Very simple. You can tap purchase orders to order parts. Tap new to create a new purchase order. We're going to make one for the job today. Select your supplier. Let's say we're ordering from Anderson. And do I want pickup or delivery? Let's say Anderson supplies right down the road. I can go pick it up, and we'll hit create. Now, what's nice about this is I'm now making a real purchase order. This is what you're going to use. You'll tap items, look through your catalog. Any items that are in the catalog, you'll be able to select from, and then you'll just build out the items you need to purchase. And when you hit send, it'll send to, this is another feature. You would want to set up your suppliers and your contacts, who works the parts counter. You'll put that info in. And then when you send this, this will go out to that person, and they'll use this purchase order to fulfill those orders. And then you'll have the PO on file here in the purchase orders section. For review requests, you'll tap review requests. Let's say you did a really good job. The customer is very happy. You might want them to leave a 5-star review on Google or, wherever you have reviews. You'll just tap new, select who this is going to go out to for your customer, and then hit send. That will send a preset message and will remind them, hey, we just recently gave you a service. Can you please give us a review at these locations? And it'll have links that you would have set up for them to go and provide you a review. And we all know how awesome reviews can be for extra business, word of mouth, just getting the word out there, how awesome your service is. Okay. So that is all the information that we have for today's presentation. I hope that you learned something. We're going to move to our Q&A now, but before we do, I just want to say thank you so much for joining. My name is Mark with WEX Field Service Management, and this has been Mobile App Advanced.